appears to be a lake up there. That's not a lake. That's the salt plains. Hey, welcome to the Selenite digging area of the Salt Plains National Wildlife Refuge. Let's go see what we can find in here. There's the rules on the sign so you can know them. And right back here is the observation deck. So let's go check that out. Military influences on the Salt Flats. Recognize, retreat, report. Okay, there's the phone number. So if you see something that doesn't look like it ought to be, right? So glass files, metal objects, munitions that look like shotgun shells, don't touch them. Stay away from them. Get away. Okay, let's get up here and see what we can see. Oh my goodness. That's the noise you hear in the background. And an iron mule pumping over there. Plains, and then look at this. Oh my goodness. You are not going to see anything else like that in Oklahoma. And not many places on the planet. How cool is that? When you come out here, you want to bring everything you need. These are the only facilities on the site. No water, no snacks, none of that kind of stuff. 1 mile. All right, I think we found the dig area. Looks like it's been fairly active. Crystal digging regulations. Each person can collect up to 10 pounds. So, we're going to dig here. Or we're going to walk around and look in other people's holes. Something like that. No, we're going to dig. Don't dig here. There's somebody's dig hole. That's pretty cool looking. This one has water in it. You can see how they dug out and around, I don't know, about 6 inches deep there. Probably the depth of the hole's not over a foot, foot and a half. Check out those crystallizations just as it's evaporating. So that's similar to what's happening on a regular basis here. There we go. Pretty different looking place out here. Kind of like being on the moon or something. Or, you know, I've never been on the moon, but you get it. A little different. A little bit different than what we normally find here in Oklahoma, or even think about what we might find here in Oklahoma. Cool, cool place. You got to come. Some idea of some of the holes that we're seeing. This one's relatively fresh, I think. It doesn't have a lot of salt that's moved to the top of the pile like one of these. Some of these salt crystals are pretty cool, just the gypsum crystals on top, not the selenite crystals or the hourglass. Jeep's back over there. I don't know why I'm walking out all across this. There's no real way to read this land to know what's underneath it. It's kind of hit and miss. You just dig a hole and see what you find, and if you don't like what you find, you dig another hole. And I guess this is as good a spot as any. Now, I do like to walk around and look at the piles, and if I see a pile that's got quite a few crystals just laying around on the ground, then I'll dig close to that area. You don't have to fill your holes. They actually encourage you to leave them open, that they create habitat for the birds during the time that the refuge is closed to digging. Just something to keep in mind. I notice some people do fill their holes, some people don't fill their holes. Usually in the hiking, the outdoors, rockhounding, fossil hunting communities, we leave things as we found them. So if we make a hole, we fill it, we recover it, or reclaim it. Some people use different terms. So I'm just kind of looking around, scouting for holes. This one's got some water in it, but I see a little edge sticking out right here, and I can feel a little smooth spot. And so that's our first crystal of the day. Let's rinse him off here in the water. Well, that's better. That'll give you an idea. Still got a lot of dirt on him. Little tiny hourglass in there. Cool. It's about an inch long. Not a bad start. Yes. You can see the shininess right there, the reflectiveness. Oh, dropped him. It's a little bigger crystal. I can't really tell much about him. Oh, sorry. Let's see if we can get some sun behind him. No, that really doesn't help much. Gonna have to clean him up. Okay. Have another neat one right here. Things are fragile till they dry out a little bit. That one's a pretty nice one. Pretty good shape. Look at that. And that one's going to have an hourglass in it too. That's awesome. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Well, let's see what we can find here. Someone else has got this big hole dug. We're just going to kind of scrape along the layer here that seems to have the crystals in it. Not much there. So we have a little broken one right here. I don't know if we can see these or not. That is beautiful. I love it. I don't know what you can see and what you can't see. So when we look at this, we can see that there's some reflections here. You can see an edge over here. There's a piece in there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to flake this apart and try to find the crystals that are in it without destroying them. So there's a little piece of one right here, right there by my thumb. Not very big. This one looks a little better. Well, that's another little piece right there. I'm going to hold on to him. They tend to form at this interface. This one's a little bigger. Wider one anyway. You can see him right there. He's got a bunch of dirt on the back. There we go. That's a cool one. The instructions are to splash the water up on the sides, but the soil where the crystals are is so dense that approach may take you a while. This way might do a little better. Now the problem with this is if you have clusters, you're going to separate them out, and so you may dig for crystals for a while, and then you may decide to dig for clusters for a while. Here's another one of the better ones from this morning so far. About 1.5 inches, about 1.25 inches or so. It's a nice size one. This one has a pretty nice hourglass in it. Clean them up and take another look at them, but oh my goodness, that's so cool. It's awesome. It's the only place on earth you can get these things. Well, this one may be the nicest one to date. Well, not to date, but today. Hourglass in there. How cool. See if I can get a better shot of that here. Well, if we can get things to be still. It's kind of windy. There we go. That one's awesome. This one's not bad. And this one is a little cluster. Cool. So I'm working a little different area here. Just fresh dirt. It's the same sort of technique though. We're just going down about 3 or 4 inches. I'm bringing that up and looking through that. There's a layer in there that seems to have the crystals. Okay, so this one has one there. Ooh, there's a nice one right there. He's a little, but his conformation is incredibly nice, and he's got a very nice hourglass formation in there. Check that guy out. How cool! Here's the other one I grabbed from right there. So kind of delicate work, not big work, delicate work. All you really need is something to dig with. And try not to break everything. Don't want to be too aggressive about that. It's good to look back through your stuff too after it dries a second, because the crystals will kind of show up after they've sat there a minute, though. You'll get a reflection depending on how you move and stuff, which can help you find a few more for your efforts. There's a thicker one right here. Some small ones. Uh-oh, dropped him. Ooh, this is a nice one too. Nice point, crystal shape, and nice hourglass conformation edge. Check that out. And these are about average big, 2.5 inches from what I hear. Now there, people got them as big as 3, 4, 5, maybe even 7 inches, sometimes as clusters, but 2.5, 3 inches are considered pretty good size. In the other holes, I haven't been finding much deeper than a couple inches. But in this one, I am finding a few, so I'm going to be a little more careful. Excuse me. There's a nice one. Right here. That is a nice Hourglass Selenite. Here's a little thinner one. Not quite got the hourglass conformation so much. This one looks more like a tornado. Ooh, that one's a good 3 inches there. How cool. How cool. Let's do it this way. Ta-da! We'll do it with some better light if the sun comes out. That's awesome. See if we can get a few of these out here. Kind of a combination of them kind of grown together there too. That one's a pretty one. Sorry for the wind. This is going to kind of show you how the crystals lay in that layer. There you can see all these little crystals that are in that layer. Just between the most permeable and the limiting layers there. There's a whole bunch of little ones right here. They're kind of fragile. But yeah. Bunch of little crystals right there. And so if you get a bigger vein or a bigger layer, you can get bigger crystals that are formed in there, which is kind of cool. Okay. Find a bigger seam. Okay, so I just pulled this one out right there. And that one's pretty cool. Kind of small, but pretty cool nonetheless. Some little ones there.
See if it's worth digging into that layer or not. That's pretty tough. Well, there are some little crystals in it, but they are fine. That one's not too bad. That one's not too bad. There's another one there, not a super conformation or anything. It's a little bitty piece. We can get the sun back there. Cool. Let's get a look at that one right there. One's one of my better ones. That's got a nice shape and a nice hourglass inclusion. Man, those sand inclusions are just something else. How cool. All right, I think I'm out.
You know, it's pretty cool to think about how 250 million years ago, this whole area was covered with a Permian sea. And as that sea receded and evaporated, those ancient minerals soaked down into this material. And that's the material that now creates these modern crystals. How cool is that? Well, I thought picking a Wednesday would be a good time to come. I was wrong. I was listening on the way up how First Nations people used the salts that they collected from this area for both trade and food preservation. How cool is that? Well, thanks for joining me today. We found some cool stuff today. This is just an unbelievable place. If you haven't been here, you gotta come. If you like this stuff, try this next video right here. I think you'll enjoy it too.